Hey guys, welcome to your special cast of Pallas Athena in Taurus Astrological Horoscope for January 19th. It's gonna be a very interesting time because we're gonna have two ingresses happening at the same time, which again, if you don't know what ingress is, it's basically a sign change. So we're gonna have Pallas Athena moving away from Aries and back into Taurus within the same hour in which the sun moves out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. Now, if you've been following along with these videos, we've had a huge number of sign changes, as we've also had Vesta going into Sagittarius, and Venus going into Aquarius, and in just a couple days we'll also be having Mars going into Sagittarius. So again, a lot of sign changes, a lot of energy shifts, and this is only not necessarily the first nor the last. It's gonna be right in the middle of a smack ton of changes. And speaking of changes, I've also gone ahead and changed my intro and outro screen. As you can see, we do have eclipse consultations on our website that you can now order and have them delivered by my partner Mylena, who is a part of Arts and Mystical Services. If you would like to check out her live casts, links are in the description below. We do 5 days a week live casts over on her Twitch channel. But yeah, with that, let's go ahead and get into it. Hey y'all, my hair is not as beautiful as I thought it would be today. So let's see what's going on here, right? We have, Pallas Athena moving into Taurus, Taurus in Spanish, as the moon is on the sun is at the 29th degree at the 58th minute. So literally, again, within an hour, the sun is also going to be shifting into Aquarius, which that video will be coming soon. But let's go ahead and talk about Pallas Athena, right? And as usual, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring up them beautiful basics of astrology, which if you have not seen, go ahead and check them out. It gives a big rundown of all of the signs and how they work, and just kind of a really basic introduction into astrology. So this is our section for asteroids and Lilith, of course. And when we talk about Pallas Athena, we're talking about direction. We're talking about creativity, intellect or intelligence, and the capability for realization as well as problem solving, right? So Pallas Athena is a very interesting sign in which it is the ruler of the cusp between Sagittarius and Capricorn. So it's definitely going to take a lot of that creativity, a lot of that wisdom, a lot of that experience, a lot of that knowledge, the, adventure that it's gone through. It's going to take all of that, and then it turns it into a Capricornian type energy of, all right, it's time to do things with this experience. It's time to do things with this knowledge. Because again, Sagittarius rules higher learning, rules colleges and universities. It's going to take that experience, that knowledge, that wisdom, and it's going to apply them to the real world. It's going to make them a reality. It's going to bring in results, achieve things, be able to meet criterias. So Pallas Athena really does take a lot of that creativity that was, experienced in Sagittarius and really brings direction through the energies of Capricorn. In this particular Athena, we're going to be having it in Taurus, which, Taurus is a fixed sign. It's an earth element sign. The ruling planet is Venus here. And, the big deal with Taurus is pretty much slow and steady wins the race, right? Definitely Venusian sign has a taste for quality, aesthetics, luxury. It's the ruler of the second house, so it's definitely going to be talking about values and how that may look like both in the interior as well as exterior. As for Athena here, again, as I said, ruler of the cusp between Sagittarius and Capricorn. And so as we move into, Athena coming back into Taurus, because in fact, she had already been here. This is not the first time that that Athena has been in Taurus within the last year, because in fact she's coming out of a retrograde. This isn't a normal ingress of, hey, I'm stepping into Taurus for the first time. No, this is a directional change after having retrograded for so long. So what does that mean? You know, generally when we talk about a sign coming out of retrograde, it means that they're first of all going into their shadow period, but it means that they did something that was incorrect, or they were not ready to progress, and so they needed more time. We needed to reflect internally, and so that's what Athena did. She retrograded, and we took a moment to be able to reflect internally about these things. And again, talking about the qualities of both Taurus and Aries, because she did retrograde all the way back to Aries, this was a moment of a lot of stable changes within us. Aries takes that energy of the self, the first house, that you know, our impulsivity, our way of acting, our temperament, our really internal qualities or personal qualities, expressive qualities, with Taurus, which is that stability, that calmness, that not rushing things, which is very contrast to Aries. Aries is, you know, on the spot. It's flame. It's passion. Taurus is more like, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna think this through before I actually commit to it. So Athena was kind of trying to make a balance between these two energies, of one wanting to go fast and the other one wanting to go slow. And it's really kind of interesting dynamic here of Athena trying to find, okay, you know what, Taurus, you need to calm down and you need to, you know, not be so damn slow and so dang grounded. While Aries was like, all right, you need to chill and not need to jump on every single opportunity that is presented in front of you, okay? You need to think things out a bit more. And I think that's what Athena was really trying to like learn here, of how can I make the energies of Taurus better by applying some of the energies of Aries to it. And so as Athena re-enters Taurus, she's really going to take a lot of that Aryan quality with her, moving into Taurus. And again, it's a really big learning experience, because Athena, as she enters Taurus, is going to be trining Saturn, who's still basically at the cusp of the natal position for Athena, which is between the Sagittarius and Capricorn, or, you know, sometimes between the 9th and 10th house. Which again is still very much Sagittarian and Capricornly ruled. So Athena here is definitely on a big learning experience of how to balance these two energies in our life, because I mean, everyone has all 12 signs. We just tend to have either planets or placements in certain places that will add or what is it, exemplify those signs as opposed to other signs. So for example, if you look at my chart, I have Gemini and I have Virgo energies, but those houses are empty. And because they're empty, they're not forced upon me. I'm not sponsored by those signs, right? When you have, say, like a Sagittarius sun like me, or an Aries moon, again, like me, you are basically being sponsored by those signs. You are a representative of those signs. When you have an empty house, you don't have that energy necessarily pushing you forward, but that doesn't mean that you don't have access to that energy. I don't want people to think that empty houses essentially means that you don't have energy in those houses. That's not true. You just aren't a representative for those signs. So with Athena here, again, a big learning experience as she is trining Saturn as she moves into Taurus. But again, we also had a huge conjunct between Pallas Athena and Uranus, which is still technically happening. It's only 5 degrees apart, so they're still kind of together. And this is a big change. And we've been talking about that as Uranus has been trining Saturn as well. But even Athena has been looking for change. She's been trying to figure out what direction she wants to go in. Because again, if there's a keyword that I can put for Athena, it's direction. She is my Spartan warrior. She is on her chariot. She has the reins of her 2 horses. She is the chariot in my tarot deck. She is looking for direction. Where is she going? Where is she going? What type of experiences has she learned? What type of wisdom has she acquired? What kind of knowledge has she gained? All of those Sagittarian type qualities that are now being brought from Aries, what has she learned from retrograding into Aries that can be better applied into Taurus? Because apparently she didn't do that the first time, as obviously she retrograded back to Aries. So now she's really trying to figure out, okay, I didn't just experience Aries. I need to take that experience, take that wisdom, take that knowledge, take that creativity, and truly apply it while in Taurus. This is a learning experience, and it's also a very creative experience, which is why I love this sextile to the moon while it's on the cusp of entering Pisces. Now again, a lot of people might say, well, Niwa, the moon is always transiting, like it doesn't matter what sign it's in. But you know, this is the moment in which Athena re-enters Taurus, and she's not going to retrograde again until the 29th degree of Libra, which I find interesting that she retrogrades in both Venusian houses. She retrograded from Taurus, and then she's going to retrograde in Libra. These are both Venus ruled signs. So there's definitely a big change and almost seeking of direction for the female side of the human race here. There's definitely a huge change and a huge learning experience, but you want to look for creativity. You want to apply creativity. Okay? Again, when you're dealing with things like Pisces, a lot of your singers or artists and stuff will have heavy Pisces placements because it's the sign of, you know, singularity, thought, spirit, where creativity manifests from. And Athena being that sign of the arts as well, though I don't particularly like to add that too much, she's going to want to seek that creativity, that experience of Sagittarius, in this case of Pisces, to try to apply that in a more correct or in a more forward manner as she rides on her chariot. And so that sextile to the moon here in Pisces is really kind of talking about, okay, look, it's time to really sit down and kind of lose yourself in your imagination just a little bit here, because obviously the way that you came out of Aries that first time was not the right way to do things in Taurus. You need to go back, you need to take that download from Pisces, take those energies of Pisces and see how you can apply that while in Taurus here, of how to move forward while in Taurus. And when we talk about, you know, Pisces, again, high levels of creativity, boundless, limitless, you know, creativity that literally you can get lost in the void. Pisces also then tends to have its own problems because sometimes they go a little too far and they don't understand personal space or boundaries. But again, the boundless energies of Pisces is why it is known as the singularity of all signs. And so we also really kind of want to also talk about the endings of Pisces. Perhaps there is a need to change something because, of course, you know, Pallas Athena is conjunct Uranus here, so there's going to be some sort of change, and in order for change to occur, something needs to end in order for something new to come about it. And so while she's now making new changes in Taurus and seeking a new proper direction, she needs to end an old mentality, an old way of pursuing what it is that she was going after. There's definitely that need to end something old and spark something new, change something new. It's one of those moments where it's like, hey, it's time to change. It's time to do something new. It's time to re-innovate things, which is quite interesting because Pallas Athena is squaring Venus in Aquarius. It's time to re-innovate. It's time to stop going with the same old. This is a square that is causing tension so that you can act. It's not a surprise that the sun is still in Capricorn while Venus is in Aquarius. This is a letting go of old ways of doing things and adopting new ideologies that make us feel good, that make us feel joy, make us feel pleasure. It's not going to be easy. The two squares are literally, it's hard to let go of things, of old ways of liking things in support of new, innovative, unique, original ways of being able to do things. Now, obviously, I'm being extremely vague in what those things are because that could apply differently to each person. This is just the collective energy that is here for us. Now, if we want to talk about, okay, what does Pallas Athena represent in Taurus, right? What is she doing in Taurus? What can we kind of look forward to this? Well, you know, we can talk about Tauran-like qualities, which, you know, oddly enough, also speak about second house qualities. And so we're going to be talking about our resources, managing our resources. This is a very big four of pentacles. Well, actually, the whole entire pentacle suit, right? It deals with money. Four pentacles, conservation. In reverse, spending too much. Five of pentacles, not needing things. Five of pentacles, reverse, recovering from need. You know, Eight of Pentacles, hard work, which, you know, Taurus does. Slow and steady wins the race. Nine of Pentacles, getting the monetary support that we want. And of course, the King of Pentacles, which is obviously Saturn here in Capricorn, is going to be becoming a master of your resources. So Pallas Athena in Taurus is going to be very much about learning how to manage your resources, how to use your money correctly. Again, the reverse situation of the Four of Pentacles. Making sure that you're not overspending on things that maybe are not going to be productive or good for you, or you're constantly spending for no reason, right? Pallas Athena here is definitely teaching you to kind of like spend money wisely, manage your resources so that you're not overspending on that which you don't necessarily mean. It could also involve other Venusian type qualities such as food and luxury and values as well. So it is a very sensitive placement because being an earth sign, Taurus kind of takes in things using their physical senses. You know, you're going to be able to lose a little bit of that impulsivity of Aries, and you're going to return back to the calm, methodical thinking that is Taurus. You know, Taurus is very much like Cancer, can be a bit slow to open up to other people because they don't want to get hurt. They're very sensitive. It's going to take a while to build that trust. It's going to take a while to open up to people. It's going to take a while to be able to get comfortable with anything you do. And as such, you're going to think it out and you're going to make decisions that are a little bit more realistic as opposed to the impulsivity that was Aries that kind of just jumps into anything. You know, you're going to want to trust your physical senses as Pallas Athena goes through here. If you have a strong Cancer placement, obviously I have Cancer ascendant, this will also give you a bit more of a being able to feel out other people's emotions in regards to situation. And I mean feel not so much in a moon way, but in a physical sense, because the ascendant is your physical body. So having Pallas Athena here is very much about feeling physical things or feeling things through in a physical sense. Now, obviously, it goes into things like, you know, being skilled with colors and textures and transformation of beauty, work of art and music and landscape. I get why why people would want to say that because of the Sagittarian creative nature, being a god, wanting to create a world in which they can then jump in and experience. But for me, it's more of like that environmental thing, right? You know, Taurus is the first earth sign, and it is very Gaianly ruled. I don't think that's a word, but, you know, kind of ruled by Gaia. It is a very, very down to earth, very environmentally concerned type of sign. And so there might be more of a desire here to kind of do things in a less processed way and more earthly way, right? During this time, maybe you start drinking some more teas instead of water. Maybe you start planting some new plants instead of or maybe planting some potatoes or cherries or strawberries instead of going out to the grocery store and buying them, right? It's probably a good idea for doing things like gardening and whatnot. Though you may want to do that according with the moon cycle. You definitely don't want to just say, Pallas Athena's in Taurus, let's go ahead and do that. Use the moon cycle. It really does help a lot more. But Pallas Athena really does benefit from that. You know, this is a good time for patience in regards to the directions that you want to take, the things that you want to do. And again, Pallas Athena is that wisdom of being able to solve problems. It's the problem solving sign. It truly is. She sees a Rubik's Cube and she will figure out the quickest way to solve it, regardless of whichever placement you give it to her. And so having her in Taurus is really going to allow us to kind of slow down, think things through, and be able to solve the problems in our life, whether they be monetary or not, whether they be self-values or values of others or values of our properties or not, or maybe with our own physical beauty, I almost really want to say, because it is a very Venusian sign. So we're gonna take things, we're going to look at things a little bit more realistic. We're going to be a lot more patient with the things we do, but we're going to be a lot more critical in how we go about things. And we may not always be very comfortable in jumping in things because it is Taurus, but that will allow us to really make sense of ourselves, our surrounding, our resources, and how we apply that with others. So, very, very, very big placements, very good signs and aspects we have going on. And lastly, you know, Pallas is in conjunct with Vesta, as Vesta did join Sagittarius not so long ago. And we talked about the reverse aspect in which, you know, Vesta was going to be looking at Pallas for some advice. You know, this is going to be that other time around. This is when the girl comes back and she's like, hey, I need some advice from you today. And, you know, Pallas and Vesta might sit down at the circle table or round table and, you know, start talking about what their experiences have been so far and how they can help each other out. With Pallas going through Taurus, you know, Pallas having a bit of that energy from Sagittarius may ask Vesta, so Vesta, how has your experiences been in Sagittarius? Because obviously you're going in a pilgrimage right now to really solidify your beliefs and your faith and your optimism and wanting to really expand on those qualities. How can I use that in relationship to being able to manage a lot of the resources that I have going on, or, you know, in the direction that I want to go in life, or whatever have you? So this is a very big, good time period for really exchanging information and kind of seeing how your adventure, your personal adventure, can bring you that knowledge to be able to make sense of things. And again, no surprise, Vesta in Sagittarius, Saturn in Capricorn, both in the early degrees, trining Pallas Athena. This is going to be that really big, like I said before, taking that experience, that knowledge and that wisdom and applying it into a real world experience to be able to move forward with things. So it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but definitely the even the placements themselves are being very beneficial for Pallas here as she properly moves through Taurus. She's still going through her shadow period, so there's definitely going to be a lot of corrections that Pallas Athena will be making as she travels through Taurus. But at least for the later half, after 15 degrees forward, she's really going to have that build confidence of, yeah, I know what I'm doing now. Yeah, I think I feel really comfortable in the way that I've developed my understanding while being in this sign, and I can really move, right? That's when Taurus actually begins to get their confidence and solidifies that trust. They feel comfortable in what they're doing now. Pallas will be the exact same way. I really feel great about everything that I've learned, about the applications that I've put in, and that's when you're going to really feel the rewards of Pallas Athena as she travels Taurus. So yeah, that's kind of all we have going on. Stay tuned and keep an eye out on Pallas Athena as she makes her way through. There's going to be a number of aspects that are still going to be occurring. And again, I may need to talk about the inverse as we talk about the sun moving into Aquarius and how Pallas Athena will be interacting with it in regards to how when she was in Aries. So I will be jumping that and more as we go make our next ingress video. That is all for me, guys. Thank you all for listening. Hopefully you found this video useful. Again, check out our store if you're interested in our limited time eclipse consultations that will be occurring at the end of this month. With the new ending, you know, if you missed yesterday's episode of Daily Astrology for Friday, go ahead and check that out. And if you have not seen the Solar Astrological Horoscope, which will be coming out right after this video, go ahead and check that out as well. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. Stay safe, stay positive, and I'll catch you guys on the next cast. Peace.